What's up, guys and gals? It's your host of the most, Griever, as always. Just getting home from work and about to read Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 125. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this live reaction instead of a review today. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And we can see from the cover page, I would like to try to use this as a thumbnail, but I probably couldn't. It's actually really well done. It's, of course, it's Exciting Twister, you know, the excitingly shameless Twister. Okay, with Matsuri and Suzu. Yeah, looks like a good time. Looks like a good time on the cover page. The chapter is 125, entitled Shadow Mai's Hope. Now, part of the reason that I'm doing a live reaction for this one is actually because I think Shadow Mai is finally going to drop the bomb on us on which one. Is it Boy Matsuri, the more likely candidate, who's a Jinyo or an Okame or whatever, or is it actually going to be reverse and it's going to be Girl Matsuri is the fake for all intents and purposes? It's going to be quite interesting. So I'm feeling like we're going to get a bit of a lore dump, an explanation dump this chapter. Probably pretty interesting. So worked out that it's going to be a live reaction. So the first page says, my Ayakashi energy, I can't materialize it. Don't tell me this is actually upsetting me. Okay, Shadow Mai's remembering all the times recently in the past where she's been helped by Matsuri and stuff like that, and where her powers have sort of waned and not worked the best. Impossible. I don't have any human emotions. I'm the Ayakashi medium's Jinyo, born from Mai Hirasaka's grudge. It's true. That's why I can feel that you and I are the same. Alright, once again, the end of the last chapter, showcasing that she obviously could tell another one exactly like her. So are they gonna make this was more of a forced one, because once again Matsuri didn't die, but this was more of a forced grudge, forced aggression, negativity, negative emotions were forced out by the Gogyo-sen with that spell when it hit Matsuri. It's sort of a forced Jinyo rather than a naturally born one. It's just taking all the negativity, all the doubts, and all the negative emotions and feelings that Matsuri was having, just in general and towards Suzu and all that stuff, and the relationship, and it manifested. You know, that's sort of what I'm gathering from this idea. That's been a theory for a couple of chapters. I'm sort of sitting on the fence with that one, but I'm pretty close to agreeing with that, and it seems like Mai's confirming it here. Is that you and I are the same. So she's a Jinyo, and one of these two Matsuris is clearly an Ayakashi, and also of the Jinyo class as a result. But it was forced, so there probably is some differences as well. What is Shadow Mai's intention? Okay, and now we're getting into a changing scene with Suzu. Alright, she's in the bedroom, she's changing. We have Boy Matsuri saying, it feels like you've become a lot closer to that one. I didn't notice until he said so. Alright, so Suzu, once again, great communication, great relationship communication right then and there with Boy Matsuri and Suzu, and Girl Matsuri. Like, really good use of, you know, their words and proper healthy communication and stuff from the last chapter going forward here. And now she's reflecting on it, which is even just as good. It's just as good. I didn't notice until he said so. I've been through a lot of things with Girl Matsuri, and we've kissed quite a lot. I mean, yeah, that's true too. I can't help that I treat both of them differently. Yeah, like, once again, this is a very supernatural version, but we already talked about this at length in the last chapter review, so I won't really reiterate other than to say definitely go check that out if you're curious on my stance on this. But this is actually quite common in relationships that have a third sort of, when you're involved in a love triangle. This one's supernatural because it's technically with oneself, but definitely holds a lot of interesting caveats to that. This is still very good and healthy communication and self-acknowledgement, though, because in the last chapter it was all about communicating your feelings properly without malice, and that's very healthy. And the second part is, right now we're getting it from Suzu here, Suzu being the object of the affection, and I use object as a very loose term, but the person, the one most involved anyways, is now self-reflecting. not pushing to his side, not saying, hey, Boy Matsuri just must be crazy or whatever. No, like thinking about what he said and honestly, all right, well, why am I doing that and stuff, and actually doing some self-reflection. This is all incredibly healthy for a manga that we're looking at a teenage girl in her underwear right now. So, you know what I mean? It's surprisingly so, because there are so many toxic relationships and so many very unhealthy relationships in fiction in general. Manga certainly no exception to that. So it's sort of nice in a way to see it sort of turned around here. Shirogane says, alright, so we're out with Shirogane. So Ryo's examination was a swing and a miss. At least one thing's clear. And what's that, Shirogane? Oh, it's Kanade, it's the young heart. That it must be a very sophisticated Omakage since we couldn't find anything out. So Shirogane's still convinced. It's like, yeah, one of them's still an Ayakashi. Just because Ryo's examination didn't prove shit doesn't mean anything. But at least once again, it's acknowledged that half a chapter was basically useless, was just fluff. It did not prove anything. But it would be meaningless for the Gogyo-sen to make one that advanced. Interesting take, Shirogane. Because having two Matsuris is actually a treat for Suzu. Okay, Shirogane thinking of the shameless implications of that. And I mean, I'm sure there's already been fan art and more specific fan art of the fact that now we have Boy Matsuri and Girl Matsuri and Suzu. I mean, there are tags on certain websites that kill for these type of scenarios. So, I mean, it's what it is. Let's see. So the division must be accidental, says Shirogane. But once again, the Gogyo-sen thought that it was actually, it's like, oh, well, we didn't get to Suzu, but this works too. Like in a very, yeah, this will work. And let's see, really? And he says, as someone who wanted myself to have an ordinary romance, this situation's pretty troublesome. Ah, so see, Shirogane's not really getting it. He's thinking of the pervy aspects, which 110%, they're going to be there. As I said, the fan art is going to be absolutely balls to the wall for the coming weeks with this. But fact of the matter is that the young heart here, Kanade, is looking into it being like, well, but I just wanted a regular, schoolyard, playground romance, something normal, something that you read and watch on TV, not this crazy supernatural and all this other stuff going on. And you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to date Dr. Manhattan, you know what I mean? I wanted, which, once again, there was another thing brought up in the Watchmen movie and in the Watchmen graphic novel about that, that's not what they're after. And they just wanted the more boy meets girl, that sort of playground stuff. So yeah, all right. This is actually very interesting dynamic. Very interesting that everybody seems to have an opinion on this, and none of them are necessarily wrong within their character and their way of thinking. So yeah. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Boy Matsuri versus Girl Matsuri. And Boy Matsuri apparently lost. I'll be making today's dinner, says Matsuri. Damn it, I'm going for a walk, and runs away. Okay. What's the big deal with making dinner? Why is Boy Matsuri upset? Yeah. It must feel frustrating to have his job taken by his other self. Oh, his job today is cooking or cleaning or what have you. It's his chores, and she's taking the chores away. Yeah, alright. Grandpa's not wrong. So he sits alone up in a big tree, of course, because he's a ninja, and that's what ninjas do. In fact, not even ninjas, like literally manga. Every delinquent, every boy character seems to find the tallest tree with this branch that's like, can support anybody's weight and sits up there as though it isn't windy, as though it didn't take a lot of effort to get up there. They all do it. The phone Rio gave me. Alright, so what's he gonna do? Call Rio? I can't use my own account, so I have a new one as Boy. Oh, yeah, alright. Yeah, this really has to feel odd. Girl Me should be the one in that Kachu Fugetsu group chat and all. Oh, right, with all the other girls. Right, yeah. But it feels like my relationship with Suzu has gone back to the old days. Yeah, because you might have the memories and experience, but girl Matsuri's still around, so it's very... This is actually good and deep writing. Like, we could really get into psychoanalysis of how he's feeling and how it's unfair for everybody involved. This is an unfair situation. How they're handling it is actually quite good for the most part, especially considering they're only teenagers. But, yeah. At least they're bringing it up. Wait, what if Suzu thinks about it, actually likes the girl me more? And then we have, of course, her going after. And this scene right here is in his imagination, but it's absolutely accurate about what has been happening since before Boy Matsuri showed up. She was totally fine with, I don't want to wait until you're a boy. I'm good with being bisexual for now until it... well, once again, I'm good with being a lesbian or bisexual until, such a time as when you're back to a boy, and then it won't be no problem. I'll be still bisexual or heterosexual. But right now, I want Matsuri Kazumaki, and regardless of form. And, of course, Matsuri feels like, no, not until I'm back in my own body sort of idea, right? And that's what's holding them off. But this scene has been played out many, many times as a result. Shuriken getting mad, calling everything shameless and stuff like that. So, yeah, like his fears, once again, this is good writing because his fears aren't unfounded. He's not creating this fantasy where, no, she's really not into Girl Matsuri in that way. No, she absolutely is. Maybe for reasons different than what he's thinking, but yeah, like this is a real case scenario. So this is what's really good. Sorry, Matsuri, I think I like girls. What do I do? What do I do? Yeah, alright. So now he's like, uh-oh, shit. So, here's the deal, is that, yes, this is a supernatural situation, and no, I don't know anything about coming out in any type of scenario, but I feel like this is probably a way that does happen to certain people, where when they figure out, you know what, you and I were on a break, using a Ross and Rachel sort of idea. You and I were on a break for a little bit. I got a little extra close with one of my girlfriends, and I realized maybe I'm actually not just into guys. Maybe I'm into girls, or maybe I'm actually not into guys at all, and I'm totally into girls, and it took us being on a break to figure it out and stuff. All these worries are actually accurate, especially in today's day and age where nobody really has a filter or any type of... There's very little reason for people to hide, and people will jump at the first chance of, yeah, no, I like this idea, So, yeah. I mean, this is an honest concern or worry that could happen, especially since Suzu is spending so much time with the person she's in love with, once again, beyond gender and sexual identity and body, like what type of body they're in. Suzu Kanade is 100% in love with Matsuri Kazumaki from a soul level, from a heart level. Regardless what form Matsuri ends up taking, this could influence, especially a teenage girl, could definitely, and very hormonal teenage girl, could influence her decision and sort of, not to sound like a bigot or whatever, but definitely confuse her to the degree that maybe she is bisexual. Maybe she's only feeling that way because Matsuri has been a girl for so long. But which one isn't? And Boy Matsuri isn't thinking along those lines of, okay, when we figure all this out, when everything does go back to normal, she's not still going to be like, oh man, I miss, the tatas that you used to have or anything like that. No. That's not going to be brought up, I really don't think. I think it literally is a situation where Suzu is simply a product of the current times right now, and she's just dealing with this in the best way she can while still going through teenage years and being head over heels in love and in lust with Matsuri, regardless what body he's in. So, as a result, this is an honest fear, but maybe driven a little extreme by Boy Matsuri, but it's entirely possible and not without merit. Once again, this is actually good writing, showcases honest fears that people would have in this particular instance. And once again, this is done for a fantasy side from boy Matsuri's perspective, but how would girl Matsuri end up feeling this way? Like, we have already had this case scenario, but what if none of this happened and Suzu all of a sudden discovered that she was actually into girls and preferred Matsuri as a girl? That's a whole nother plot line and kettle of fish that could be unraveled, and it's actually interesting. Once again, we're walking a very thin line. Half the shit I say is probably taken out of context, and people want to burn me at the stake for suggesting any such thing. But because we're talking about gender swap, because we're talking about sexual identity, because we have to bring these topics up to read into this manga, it is a thin line you walk, and you're probably going to upset a lot of people by your opinions and the things you say when you're discussing the series. But I'm trying to be as not just open-minded, but I'm trying to be as unbiased and just showcase all perspectives as broadly and as openly as I can. Not saying one is over the other in any scenario, just bringing up the potential of any possibility that could be going down with these characters right now. So definitely quite interesting, and this is where finally Shadow Mai appears, saying, "You look troubled, Matsuri." And there she is. Mai. Alright. I must say, I find this pretty ridiculous, that a non-human would have such human worries. Well, damn, she's just gonna straight up say it? Confirm what we already guessed, that Boy Matsuri's the Jinyo? Okay. You and I are the same. What? You were born from a strong grudge, just like me. The Ayakashi is not the girl Matsuri, it's you. Straight up saying it. But once again, all the negativity, all the frustration that Matsuri as a person, whether boy or girl, has been feeling towards that, wants to turn back into a boy, and frustrated by the fact that can't start the relationship with Suzu, and this, that, and the other thing, the powerlessness, like not being able to protect her correctly, and anything could all boil up and manifest into this grudge. Similar to how I always explain to certain people, like my brother's very bad at this. In his relationship, he always has been. He's working on it, and he's been doing better. But one of the big things he does is he lets the little things, instead of bringing it up at the time, he lets both, the small things just keep piling up until you're so overfilled that you blow up not at a big thing, but a small thing, because you've let all these small things, but you blow up as though, like the world is ending, and it's totally disproportioned to what's actually going on at the time. So as a result, I'm thinking the same idea here with the grudge is all the small, both big and small things have been building, and there is a grudge inside Matsuri, if you pile up all the insecurities and all the negative emotions and everything, and then the Gogyo-sen spell forced a Jinyo out of this. That seems to be the case. It's a theory I sort of had. I sort of saw it in parts. I came up with it on my own, but I also saw it more detailed and more talked about on a couple of Reddits. So I think that more than one person has had this thought. And let's see. Listen, what's your evidence for? Just a feeling. Okay. No. You're speaking facts, Stop it. Just a feeling? That's why I want to find out. Wait. So she doesn't actually know? What's the deal? Could I possess you for a while to look inside you? Okay. If she does anything strange, I'll kick her out with Inner Storm. Sure. Check all you want. Oh, okay. So, gonna let her check. So, she's a little shocked by this. Why do I want to know this so badly? Okay, so Shadow Mai's sweating about doing this. The obligatory panty shot. We needed one, I've probably got my hopes up. And goes forth. And we have, of course, the nakedity shot, that maybe I might be able to escape from this loneliness if he's a being born from the same emotions. I mean, she's looking... Actually, this kind of works out. If Boy Matsuri sticks around, couldn't Boy Matsuri be more of the companion? But then you have Garaku into the mix, and you got another love triangle. It would add a different dynamic, but maybe she's feeling like she's the only one of her kind in the world. And once again, it's no different from... You see this a lot. It's like when you're unique, sometimes unique and being one of a kind also brings a sense of loneliness. Like they always said, it's lonely at the top. If you're the only genius in the room, you can't relate to anybody, and it's very frustrating, and sometimes can be very polarizing, very, very negative in the best of ways. So, or in the worst of ways, I guess. So she's looking for someone exactly like her, someone built the same way she is. A fellow Genio, but a Genio born from similar, as she said, from the same emotions. So let's see. And she looks inside, and whoa! Very detailed art, a bunch of hands trying to grab her. And she's like, uh-oh, it's reacting to me. And of course, we're having the very... Yeah, we're having one of those moments. Okay, alright, yep. Once again, this is not 18R rated, but I mean, it is what it is. Reacting to me as part of the Ayakashi medium. The hands are going all over her naked body and grabbing at any which way they can. I feel like there's a tag on Pornhub for this type of thing. I don't know. But a cursed jutsu formula to completely destroy the Ayakashi medium. Oh, wait, so this is the cursed jutsu formula. This is the creation the Gogyo-sen summoned, and it's literally inside Matsuri, Boy Matsuri right now, and it's reacting because she is still technically part of the Ayakashi medium, so it's reacting, trying to completely eradicate and destroy her. So Shadow Might jumps away almost immediately, puts some distance, shocked, and looks, and Boy Matsuri, well, you were wrong, right? Oh, has no... Wait. He himself is unaware. She's sweating something fierce, and that is, yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Okay, so this was quite an interesting chapter overall. There was a lot to discuss there, with the characterization and people taking accountability, but also being able to be self-reflective. Shadow Mai is being self-reflective. Boy Matsuri is being self-reflective. Suzu is certainly the star, being very self-reflective. And everyone has their own opinions and aren't necessarily wrong. Shirogane, Kanade, all these people have their own thoughts and feelings towards what's happening right now. And since nobody has the concrete evidence or the proof, and Suzu hasn't even sorted out her own feelings yet. So all of the fears, once again, the fantasies or fears, which are usually in manga, are so outlandish, you know? Like somebody, because the main girl is nice to the, or helps out, or goes shopping with one random dude, the main boy character or somebody imagines, oh my god, she's gonna go off with him, they're gonna be married tomorrow, and it's totally outlandish, right? These fears, these fantasies have literally happened in the story and are subject to actual reality and possibility. He's not going down a rabbit hole like Alice, you know what I mean? He's actually thinking about legitimate fears that are entirely possible. Suzu could come out and say, I didn't know until I was around Girl Matsuri for so long, I think I'm into girls. Not just bisexual because Matsuri's a girl, but straight up lesbian 100%, not even into boys. That is an actual legitimate, the possibilities might be, you know, you can play a numbers game with it, but it's a legitimate fear, as is the one that she's totally into Girl Matsuri regardless of the form Matsuri takes, because that has literally happened in multiple chapters. So yeah, there's been a lot of self-reflection in this chapter. Honestly, I don't know what's been going on, but the last like 3 or 4 chapters have been nothing, or 2 or 3 chapters have been nothing short of really good in-depth character writing, but healthy communication, self-reflection, and awareness within oneself and in a relationship. That's really cool. That's really cool to me. The writing has really, like, boom, skyrocketed for me as far as all this is concerned. Maybe it's the situation that brought out the best writing, possibly. But either way, really liked this chapter as well. What did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. That's my reaction. I think it was a 10 out of 10 chapter. Really good. I think the last chapter might be slightly better, but both chapters were stellar. They really were. Great character writing, great character in-depth, character development, and not showcasing toxic and very misunderstood traits that happen so often in manga, especially in romance manga and with romantic couples outside of romance manga, where it's all a misunderstanding. It's all miscommunication. None of that is happening here. It's all out in the open. It's honest. It's healthy. Very shocking, but very good. So that's it for me, though, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys back here next time for more Ayakashi Triangle. I'm actually really excited for the next chapter. I hope to actually get to it on Sunday this time. Next Sunday, because, damn. These chapters have been some of the most exciting of the current series I've been reading lately. So, yeah. But that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sayonara.